Welcome back, everybody. Uh, this exhaust job has me exhausted. So, all right, if you've been following the last couple of videos, you know I have the Tioga down, the 1987 Ford E350 Tioga down for some much-needed repairs. I swore I wasn't going to make another video until I really turned the corner on this job and got the bearer of the, which is the exhaust manifolds. It is such a job. So I really had all the old busted bolts out, and finally, days of drilling and digging, and they're all out. They're all out. And I gotta show you. Ooh, gotta show you this miracle tool, Bella. Okay, see this thing? Now, let's go out here in the light. How does this thing work? So it's an extension that you can put this thing any angle and drill wherever you need to. So it was with this thing. Let's see here. Let's let it hang down. Right here. So it was with that device I was able to reach up in here and drill out the broken bolts that were. Now there's a tap I have in that one because I'm cleaning them out. The ones that weren't broken, I'm still going to clean those out, blow them out with the air hose. But finally, and what happened was, it started with there was just one broken bolt over on the other side, all the way in the back. And then, this one, these two back here, all the way in the back, they had broken at some time, and somebody tried to make a repair on those, and that turned into a mess, so it took some doing to get those right again. But that's it. Those are all cleaned. Those bolts are all ready. And you may notice I have the valve covers off. Okay. So we're getting them cleaned up and put new valve cover gaskets on it so it'll stop seeping oil down the side of the engine. And the carburetor's off. It's been off. Remember that red rag there for a minute. That's sitting on the intake manifold. Yeah, keep that in mind here for a minute because I'm going to show you something else I found. Those exhaust manifolds, got them off and actually reconditioned them with, let me show you here, what I'm going to start with. You might notice, remember those tubes that used to be in here, if you watched the last videos. I have those tubes all plugged. And let me turn this thing around. Okay, in here we have brand new bolts that replace the, the yucky old, crappy old bolts. Yeah, I have grease and stuff under my fingernails. Been working on this thing forever. Yeah, here's them old bolts. Yeah, we got new bolts in there. This is all rough, but it'll be alright. I took these were so warped, I took these in and machined them at my buddy's shop, so this mounting surface is all nice and flat again. And we also have the old bolts. Some broke off. And we're putting all new bolts in. So, now, and I found out I'm using the wrong type of gasket. So, and I already installed one, so I can't return them. I'll have to take it back out. Let's go over here and show you. So I have one exhaust manifold on already. Already. It's about time. So here's what that looks like on. Okay, there's those plugged holes. I see the new gasket. Oop, let's get this light right. And the brand new bolts. Alright. So there's one exhaust manifold on. But that is the wrong type of gasket. I'm going to have to take this back off, which is no big deal. Those are new bolts. They'll come right back out. I'll have to switch the gasket and put it back on. Not a big deal. Not a big setback at all. Oh, hi Bella. Oh, here's the valve covers. They're cleaned up. And I had to paint them with classic Ford blue. So I cleaned up the valve covers. Here's the gaskets. Brand new gaskets put on them. As soon as I get these exhaust manifolds back on, those can go back on. And let's switch over here to these types of gaskets. I found out with this type of engine and that there was a reason they use these thin metal gaskets. It's because the exhaust manifold has to be bolted kind of metal to metal. The design was that the engine is like a heat sink. A lot of the heat from these transfers into the engine. I mean, the engine's water cooled, so it only ever gets up to a certain temperature. A lot of the heat transfers out of this into the engine. Well, they miscalculated something because these things still warped. They probably should have stress relieved these before they machined them and put them on originally. So, I think a lot of the warping, that's old news. I think most of that movement is gone. There's still going to be some movement anytime something heats and cools. But because I took these off and they were warped, I would have been more concerned if I took them off and they were relatively straight. That would have meant that it heats up, it warps. And when it cools down, it goes straight. When it heats up, it warps. When it cools down, it goes straight. No, they were warped pretty good, so it tells me that they warped and stayed warped. That stress in the material, maybe what happened was over time from however many times this old motorhome has been used, that over time, all the heating and cooling, that they kind of stress relieve themselves. So I don't know after a couple hundred or a couple thousand miles if whether it snaps the bolts again or if they warp or if it stays put. I don't know if I was right or not. Maybe. So that's my hope. Here's the metal gaskets. This type is going back because this is made out of a fiber. It does have metal on it, but they're thicker and they have a fiber, which kind of isolates the exhaust manifold from the engine. We want it metal to metal to metal, so that there's actually heat transferred from this to the engine, that the engine's water cooled, so that heat has somewhere to go. With these, it doesn't. The manifolds will get hotter than ever if I isolate it with that type of gasket. Whew. Okay, that probably was a whole lot of information for the non-mechanics out there, right? What else is going on? Okay, we have new. So, while I'm right there, we have these old spark plugs, and those gaps actually are supposed to be 40. There's a new one, it's supposed to be 44 thousandths. I checked a few of those, and they're actually up around 60. So over time, all that arcing, that gap has grown. So they're all rusty, and they got oil baked on them, and it needs nice, fresh new plugs. So, new set of plugs. What else we got going on over here? We have, let's see, a new air filter. I have the carburetor kit here. Come on. I'm not going to open that up now, but that's for rebuilding the carburetor. We'll be getting to that soon. Here's this thing I wanted to show you. That was on top of the intake manifold that was under that red rag. Now this is an interesting device. Oops. Okay. So this thing sits on top of the... Oh, hi. This is the resident cat. Her name's Poose Poose. And she's getting to be a cranky old girl. Sometimes she draws blood without notice. There's no warning. Just say, I'm going to make you bleed today. Hi, Poose. Hi, Poose Poose. You want to be a YouTube star? We can do it. Here comes Bella. Oh, Bella, did you get jealous? Let's not talking to the cat too much. Poose Poose, be nice to Bella. Bella said, you better settle down, dog. Huh? Is Poose growling at you? Is Poose Poose growling at you? Okay. Bella's under control. Poose, you gonna help me out here? Poose Poose, you gonna help me out? Let's show everybody what a cranky old lady you are. The poor old girl. She's a good girl. So this is that plate. Underneath that red rag, on top of the intake manifold, sat this plate. And the carburetor sat on top of it. So I took the carburetor off because it needs worked on. So why take this plate off, right? Well, it's a good thing I did. And what this thing does, if you look on the bottom side of it, okay, this gasket is all, you know, just torn and cracked, and this whole area around here is another exhaust leak. Well, why is there exhaust coming up through the intake manifold? Well, it's part of the pollution design. It was all kind of sealed okay around the carburetor part of it, but this little chamber here, or looks like a tunnel, what it did was exhaust gases come up through that, and this channel here, and this EGR valve actuates and sends it down this other tube into here, and sends exhaust gases down into the engine. Which, oh boy, I gotta clean that seat. So, anyway, with this gasket all around this area, it's all gone, it's all burnt, it's missing. Which means that was not sealed, and exhaust gases were leaking out on top of the engine too. So what do I have to fix that? There it is. Okay, brand new gasket. $6.99. So that gets sealed up too. Alright, so on the top of the engine, I'll get that plate sealed up. I have the carburetor kit to get this. I'll rebuild this carburetor here. Just as soon as I finish the main bear of the project, so I'll be getting those bolted on. Anything else? Oh, I took those into my buddy's shop and machined those flat. I'll show you here about 10 or 15 seconds of that process. It's kind of cool and fun. That's it. What else we got going on here? It's been a long haul. That's been a lot of getting all them busted bolts out. I started saying it started with one busted bolt. Well, the other side leaked, so also didn't look like it had any busted bolts. But to get those exhaust manifolds off, they're rusty old bolts. So a number of them busted taking the dying exhaust manifolds off. There was the driver's side, there the back one was busted, and then the next to the last one on the front side, it broke, and the rest came out. That one broke there. But on the passenger side, 3 of them broke, getting it off, and then that back too was, somebody tried making a repair and made a mess of those. So this whole bank on this side, it's all repaired too. So this will start coming together good now. You see, that was the bear. That was the bear of the project. I finally have that done. So, all right, in the coming day or 2 or 3, this will really start coming together finally. We gotta get this thing down the road. I need a break. I need to find some nice shady spot down by the creek. Get the fishing pole. I've had enough of this turning wrenches stuff. That's it. I just wanted to bring you up to speed on where it's at with the Tioga. It's coming along pretty good. Slow but sure. We said hi to Bella. We met Poose. That's it. Till next time. Be good.